Today we're looking at Diamine Aqua Blue. Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm an ink guy. I get inks, test them, and share the results with you. Now, Diamine Aqua Blue is a turquoise ink. Before we get to the writing samples, let's take a look at the sciencey bits. Up first is the chromatography, and I agree with Vita that I've learned a lot by doing multiple chromatographies over the years. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. I put a line of ink down, I let it go into the water for 10 to 15 seconds and watch it creep up. And this ink runs from water, which is strange given its name, but it runs straight up. Now we don't see a lot of color variation. We see it lighter on the bottom and work its way darker. The one on the right I let dry for 10 minutes before I dunk it into the water, and it looks exactly the same as the one that I didn't let dry, which means that this has no water resistance. It also means it should be very easy to clean out of the pens. Resistance tests are done to see how well the ink holds up on the page and how hard it might be to clean out of the pen. The smears let dry for 3 days. Looking at the highlighter, we see that it reactivates it a little bit, but not much. Wouldn't be horrible with a drier highlighter. Water, on the other hand, is completely lifting it off the page. The same is with flush and bleach. All of them look like I bleached the page, so there's nothing holding this ink back. There's no reason to use anything more than water to clean your pen. Now this is a bell curve or a normal distribution. For the 365 inks I've tested, I've found an average viscosity of 2.5. Now normal is the range from 2.1 to 2.9. Diamine Aqua Blue has a viscosity of 1.74, which means it's a wet ink. It's a good heavy flowing ink, which a lot of people like. You can see it on the bell curve. Now this bell curve is for the average dry time. For the 365 inks I've tested, I have found an average dry time of 17 seconds. And normal in dry time is the range from 13 to 21 seconds. Diamine Aqua Blue has an average dry time of 19 seconds. Certainly a little longer in that normal range, but within normal, so perfectly acceptable. And how do I find my average dry time? I average the extra fine and medium nib on my writing samples done on Clairefontaine, Tomoe River, and Rodya paper. Let's take a look at the writing sample. I have this ink in sample form, and to keep writing samples consistent, I use a Jinhao 159 with a 1.1 stub. I'm using a Jinhao X750 with a Goulet medium and a Jinhao X750 with a Goulet extra fine. Looking at Clairefontaine, we have no bleeding, no ghosting. In a 1.1, we have no feather, no spread, no echo, no sheen. Nice color variation though. It's a beautiful color that gives a really nice variation in the colors of water, aqua blue. It's nice color variation here. I really like how this looks with stubs or with flexi nibs. Although it's nice with the others, and you'll see through the writing samples, I'm really a fan of this color when it comes to line variation. It really makes the color stand out. On the extra fine, we have no feather, no spread, no echo. No feather, no spread, no halo, no sheen. Some good color variation that's occurring. Beautiful color. Really, a beautiful color. This turquoise, I know it says blue. This turquoise is fantastic. And we're going to see in the writing samples why this is turquoise, not blue. 13 seconds to dry with the extra fine. I can live with the dry time because it's a beautiful looking ink. In the medium, no feather, no spread, no halo, no sheen. Why do I keep wanting to say echo? I'm on the wrong side of the paper. No feather, no spread, no halo, no sheen. Great color variation. This again, it's just a beautiful ink. If you're like me and I just think life is too short to use cheap paper, this ink, fantastic. 19 seconds to dry. And on the Scrubby, it doesn't show the color variation that we do get in some of these writing samples. If I smear it, it's light enough that I'm not positive I'm going to be able to go ahead and recover what I wrote. Looking at Tomoe River, we have no bleeding. We have ghosting. It's Tomoe River. In a 1.1, we have no feather, no spread, no halo, no sheen, No color variation. We lose it. And that's just because this paper makes ink take forever to dry. And we're going to see that right here in the extra fine. No feather, no spread, no halo, no sheen. We do get some color variation. Not a whole lot. Not enough that I would really call it shading on this paper. But it took 20 seconds to dry. So that ink took forever to just level entirely and then dry out. On the medium, no feather, no spread, no halo, no sheen. Again, very minor. I really wouldn't call it a shading ink on this paper. 27 seconds to dry. And in the Scrubbies, we don't get to see the color variation, which is a reason it's so hard to spot in the writing itself. On the smear, we're not going to be able to recover that as a smear. Moving on to Rodya paper. No bleeding, no ghosting. In the 1.1, we have no feather, no spread, no echo, no sheen. Nice color variation. It gives us some very beautiful spots at the bottom of the Q, in the A, in the U to E. Gives us very nice. I really like how this ink looks in stubs and in flexi nibbed pens. Extra fine, we have no feather, no spread, no halo, no sheen. We're getting some color variation, not a ton. While I love shading, a beautiful color ink will work just fine. And that's what this is. This is fantastic here. Not a lot of color variation, but it's a fantastic color. It is just really nice. 15 seconds to dry. In the medium, no feather, no spread, no halo, no sheen. We're getting a little bit of color variation, but it's like going from a turquoise to a slightly darker turquoise. It's harder to spot. It happens where you do your overlaps a couple times. 21 seconds to dry. In the Scrubby, we see that we're not expecting a lot of color variation. And on a smear, you might be able to recover this. Now, this particular ink, and this is the reason I say this is definitely a turquoise, I went to the yellow Rodya. No bleeding, no ghosting. Looking at the 1.1, no feather, no spread, no halo, no sheen, but look at that color difference. Fantastic. Absolutely gorgeous with the yellow background. It makes this really, really stand out. It is not green. It is not blue. It is a full-on turquoise, and you get to really see that with yellow papers. We do have nice color variation here. Onto the extra fine. No feather, no spread, no echo, no sheen. We start seeing some color variation. Look at the word quick. A lot more color variation on that quick than on this quick. Quite a bit different. That brown's pretty uniform, so it's nice. I prefer this with the yellow paper. 15 seconds to dry. Onto the medium, it gets a little bit darker. We get no feather, no spread, no halo, no sheen. Little more color variation. 20 seconds to dry. And when we look at the Scrubbies, we actually see some of the color variations come out more. Now, not when you look at the whole thing, but if you look at the left side and the right side, those are dramatically different. It's that its color changing is happening on such a slow scale that it's hard to even notice how it's going from much lighter to much darker. So that's great. And on a smear, you might be able to recover this. Now looking at black and red paper. No bleed. No ghosting. The 1.1 gives us no feather, no spread, no echo, no sheen, no color variation. It's gone. On the fine, we have no feather, no spread, no echo, no sheen, no color variation, but it took 10 seconds to dry instead of the 15 on Rodya. So that might be where some of that color variation went to. Still a beautiful color, but we lost all those features. All we have is the beautiful color. Looking onto medium, it gets a little darker than it was with the extra fine, which is nice. I like to be able to do that. No feather, no spread, no echo, no sheen, no color variation. 14 seconds to dry. When we're looking at the Scrubby, the medium gives us no color variation at all. The extra fine gives us a little bit, especially when you look right here, you start to see it happen. And on the smear, it's a light ink. You're just not going to be able to recover it. So that's what I have for the writing samples. Instead of finding inks that look like Diamine Aqua Blue, I would prefer to find inks that really complements its color on the page. Now, being a turquoise ink, I chose a nice bright red. I chose Diamine Passion Red. You know it's bright in its name. It's not as bright as we would think. It's not obnoxious. It's just a nice compliment on the page. Before I give my opinion on this ink, I'm going to ask if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if it's your first time here, I would invite you to subscribe. To get a range of experience with this ink, I do the writing samples. I then ink it in a different pen for a day, and then I put it into another pen to take my notes for the video. Today I put it into a Noodelr's NibCreaper to take the notes. So what do I think of Diamine Aqua Blue? I think you need to use it in a flexi nib or a very dry pen. Wet pens don't feel like they give the color variation that this ink can get. As for the color, I think it looks like a pool. So now the big question, would I buy a bottle of this ink? I wouldn't be opposed to having one. I just wouldn't put the money out for it, but that's because turquoise is not my favorite color. But if you like turquoise, this one's fantastic. Thanks for watching.